Hello YouTube family, how are things going today? Today we're going to learn how to make, and if you haven't heard from my accent, New York City bagels. I learned this kind of a while ago with on YouTube. There was a recipe out there and I've been making it ever since, and my daughters seem to like it. It's a pretty easy recipe, only calls for a handful of ingredients and of course a couple of techniques. Now, apologize for the video again, that this is not as professional as a lot of the people out there making videos where they get close-ups and what have you. So you're going to follow me around the kitchen while I do this stuff. We're going to try to do it all in one shot. Okay, several of the ingredients that you'll need, I'm going to go over them real quick. Number 1, salt. Number 2, flour. Number 3, yeast. It could be this active dry yeast that's in the container here. Number 4 is sugar. You'll need some spray, or it doesn't have to be spray, but an oil, like a metal container. Doesn't have to be metal, just a container. You'll need a scale, and you'll also need a cutting board. Now I'm going to go over the preparation right now. Then I'm going to do a second video, which is going to encompass the preparation of the dough and the actual preparation before I put it actually in the oven. So right now I'm going to do the initial preparation as far as the dough is concerned. So I have 3½ cups of flour here, and I've also already did the yeast. Now this, and I'll bring it up a little bit closer to you. So again, apologize about the, you'll see the yeast. It doesn't have to get to be this intense. I just had it sitting here for a while because I was waiting to do the video. But as long as you put the yeast in, what you're going to do, I put a 1 1/4 cups of water. I put the yeast in, and then I put 2 teaspoons of sugar. 2 teaspoons of yeast, 2 teaspoons of sugar. The yeast actually eats the sugar until it starts to foam like this. Then you know the yeast is good. So the first thing I do, and a lot of people actually knead their dough, but I'm not into that kneading stuff. So I have a bread machine over here. If you look over here to the left, and I'm gonna let that do the work. So I'm gonna come on over this way. If you'll follow me, it's just a regular bread machine. You could probably use any bread machine. That's if you want to use the bread machine. It's got a container that goes in here. I'll clip that inside. What I do with the bread maker is different. I actually put the yeast in and the water in first. Then I get my flour, put the flour on top there, and then I make a little divot inside of the, and if you'll follow me, I'll show you what I'm doing here. Hold on 1 second. I make a little divot inside of the flour, like this with my finger, and then I put about, I'm going to kind of measure it by eye, about 2 teaspoons of salt. Just put it right in the center right there, and that's it. That's all. Okay, so from here you're going to go ahead, and on my particular machine you're going to press select, and then I know it's number 9, which will only do dough only. So I don't know if you can see it right there. Select, and then start. Okay, and that'll go like that. It'll actually rotate like that for a good little while. So we're gonna let this do its work, and then once it's done, we're gonna come on back and see how the dough ball looks. Now, just to show you the dough, once it's mixed up, it'll look like this. With these bread makers, they have their own kneading function, but the finished product will not look like that. So what you have to do is you look inside here, if you're using this. If you know how to knead bread or dough already, then that's fine. You already know what you're doing. But for those who are either using a bread maker, my tips would be, this is actually going to start spinning faster. Once it starts spinning faster, then you want to look down at the bottom of the bottom, and you want to see the consistency of the dough. If it's dry, you want to add a little bit of water at a time. If it's too wet, most likely it'll be dry before it's wet, because I don't put as much water in there. I add a little bit of water as we go until this starts to form and starts taking up all the dough on the sides. Let that knead for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then once it forms into a nice tight ball, then I take it out. I'll show you how that's done. Now this should be spinning pretty quick soon, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. See all of the flour, the loose flour on the edges? That means it needs a little bit more water, and it wouldn't hurt for me to do that right about now. So let me go ahead and get some water here. Stick with me. I'm trying to do this with one hand. One of these days, I'm gonna look back at these videos and see how funny they were. Where I didn't know how to do the editing, but you guys are getting the picture. Hopefully. Right about this point is where you want to start adding your water. So I just put a little bit at a time. Just a little bit right on the edges there. And just watch it. See right there where it's dry? Just a little bit of water in, not much. And the dough will start picking it up. You don't want to put too much in at one time. And just let it do its thing. Still a little bit dry on the side. I'll put a little bit more water in there. You see, I'm not putting much at all, just a little bit. You see how it's picking it up. Now, any type of dough that you make, whether you make a pizza dough, which I make New York pizzas as well, New York style pizzas. See how it's picking it up? Just like that, it's like what you want. So if you want to help to get some of that stuff incorporated, I just take a little spatula and I throw it down inside here. This is the easy way to do this. And then there's people who love to knead bread, and that's fine with them. I'm not big about kneading bread, so this is the way I do it. You just let that swirl around for a little bit until it becomes sort of solid. See how it's coming off the sides? That's exactly what you want. Now, if it steams to stick a little bit more on the side, you can put just a little, just like a pinch of flour in there to help get it off the sides a little bit. But this looks like it's going to be the right consistency for me anyway, for my needs. And it should start to smooth out a little bit. Now, it's not going to smooth out all the way. We'll do that in a few minutes. Somewhat satisfying for me to watch this this. Give it about another minute or so, and we'll pull this out, and I'll put it inside the bowl. While I'm doing all this, what I'm going to do is come over here to the oven. Oven's over here. I'm going to, well, take out whatever's in there. Yeah, there's a pan in here. And this right here. And I'm going to warm this up just a little bit. I'm just going to turn it on for about a minute. So press bake, then press start, and just about a minute, just so I can warm it up a little bit. You don't need it that warm. It's about a minute or so, and then 30 seconds to a minute. And also, you may want to throw the oven light on as well. That, for some reason, generates just enough heat in order for this to sit in there. So because it's going to rise, and you want to have it sit for about an hour. So just a little bit of heat, not much at all. Okay. So now I'm going to turn it off. See, it wasn't that long at all. Just that long. Make sure you turn it off, because sometimes you'll forget to turn it off and you'll put the stuff in there and it'll be 325 degrees. So it's off. The oven light is on, so that's fine. I just wanted to prep that. So So let's come back over here to our dough. And while we're over there talking, see how it comes off all the sides? That's starting to form nice. Okay, we're going to be taking this out soon. Now, as you can see, I could leave it in the bread maker. I could leave it in there and let it rise inside the bread maker, but I'd rather just do it this way. So this is be just about tight enough for me right now. So I'm going to turn this off. Turn it off, clear my table here, and the stuff that I actually put in there. And now I'm going to take out the dough. No worries, I already washed my hands. So what I'll do is I'll take it out, I'll put it in this container, and then I will spray it down with a little bit of oil. And the reason being is because I'm going to punch it down now. Kind of smooth it out a little bit more. Flip it. Just punch it down to smooth out a little bit. Okay. That's good. Now I'm going to go ahead and spray it again so it doesn't dry out. I'm going to take a towel, put the towel over it, like so, and then I'm going to throw it in the oven. Now remember, make sure that oven's off. You only put it on for about 30 seconds. And this is how you do any type of dough. So the dough thing is not a big secret, just the ingredients. What makes a bagel special is what we're going to do next, and I'll show you that in a little bit. It'll be in the next section. Thanks. Okay, now the dough has been done. It's already risen. That's our dough. It's doubled in size. Again, I washed my hands. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to measure out the dough. I'm going to take it out initially. Take it out. Just kind of form it a little bit. I don't want to mess with it too much. Just kind of pat it down a little bit and put it here for now. So next I'm going to do is take my scale, just a regular food scale here, turn it on, I'm going to select grams, and I'm going to measure the container first. The container measures 111 grams, and then I'm going to add the dough to that. So you've got 1071. So if I do my math correctly, it's 1071 minus 111. 1071 minus 111. Let me do the math here real quick. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that. I used to do this when I was in school. So that's 1071 minus 111 divided by 8 equals, okay, 10. So that's 960, and you divide 960 by 8. So it's 120 grams per bagel, because I want to make them evenly. So I'm going to take this back out here, and I'm going to start marking this off to 120 grams. Now, I've also wiped off and cleaned off the counter here. So we're going to do 120 grams on each one. Right there. And all you do is you take it, you put it together, kind of fold it up on itself, like this. And then what I do is I run it across the table here just to seal it in. Pinch it at the bottom here. And then just place it on the cutting board. Now I'm going to do 8 of these. Okay. And kind of fold them in. Now, people who are professional have done this before. They know how to do this stuff here. So they can skip this part if they want to fast forward. But for those who want to learn the technique, by all means, stay tuned. Shouldn't take too long for me to do this. Now, while I'm doing this, excuse me for 1 second, I'm going to turn on the water. I'm going to turn on my hot water. Give me a quick second. So I've got a pan over there, and I'm going to show you a little bit later that has, it's going to have boiling water in there, and that's going to be the secret of the bagels. People don't realize that, but that's the secret. You say, what? Hot water and bagels? What's that all about? That can't be good, but that's what it gives it. It's sort of spongy or chewy texture that people love with bagels. Now, after I do this, I'm going to go ahead and let these rest for about 15 to 20 minutes. I want them to puff up nicely, because the more they puff up, the better my bagels are going to be. That's 4. See, I'm doing it real quick here. And the last one may be a little bit over, a little bit under. It's no big deal. It doesn't have to be exact, as long as they're all in the same ballpark. And you see how I'm just rubbing this? Make sure your counter's clean when you do this too. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that. Otherwise, you'll have all little black spots in your whatchamacallit, on your bagels, and you won't know where it came from. Like I said, my videos will get better. I've seen some of them were excellent. These look like professional videos that people have done on television or something. And you got to invest a lot of time and energy for that. I guess eventually, you know, I'll be looking, again, as I said before, I'll be looking back at these videos, sort of laughing at the fact that how primitive mine were when I first started. But you got to start somewhere, right? The information needs to go out whether you're ready or not. Now this one over here, this last one may be a little bit smaller than the rest. But it is what it is. Oh no, I think I'm right spot on. Let's see. A little bit more. Okay. I think I'm spot on with all of them. So my calculations came out pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and do this with all of them. Line them up in a second here. Because, you know, I like being in the military. I like that structure, you know. Put them in the, you know, columns of 2. Just pinch it off on the bottom here. Now your dough should be nice. If you've done it right, your dough should be nice and soft and pliable. But what we're going to do as well at the end here is we're going to go ahead and put some oil on them before we put the rag on, the towel on them, because we don't want them to dry out. They will dry out if you don't put oil on them. They'll be all crusty on the top, and then things will just go sideways from there. So. And this deals with any dough. As I said, I make New York pizza dough as well. Special. It's not very difficult, but if you want that, just go ahead and send me a comment. I'll send you that. Also, too, I'm going to give you the recipe for this in the comments. So you can go by this and then go by the recipe as well. Now, to be honest with you, and then, oh, sorry about that. To be honest with you, I did use a little bit more flour because I wanted to make my bagels a little bit bigger. So if you want to do that, you're more than welcome to use a little bit of flour. I said 3.5 cups earlier, but actually I used 4 because the ones that came out earlier weren't, and of course you put the towel on. I'm leaving for about 20 minutes, a good 20 minutes. Um, they didn't come out the way that I wanted to. They were a little bit small because you can't rush bread. You can't rush dough. If you don't have the time for it, don't do it. Because if you try to rush it and you try to work with it prematurely, it's going to go flat and it's not going to work out the way that you want. So if you have the time for it, do it. If you don't, this takes about an hour. Get about an hour and a half. An hour and a half for everything. So if you got about an hour and a half, no, about an hour and a half, it's about to be an hour rising time. Maybe up to 2 hours. So 2 good solid hours, then you can make these bagels. And of course, if you want to make more, you just go ahead and put it back in the bread maker, double the recipe, and double the recipe. So I'm gonna let this sit for about 20 minutes, and then I'm gonna form the bagels, and then I'll show you what makes bagels once that's done. Thanks, talk to you soon. Okay, we're back. Now I've let these sit about 20-25 minutes, so they bounced up a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is start to form them. And the way you do it with the bagel, you always wonder why they're round, and you know, how do you actually do them? So you actually put your finger in the middle, create a divot, and just stretch it out a little bit. Just like that. See? It's no big secret. Now once I'm done here, I'm going to let them rest for another few minutes while I'm heating up my water, to let them fluff up a little bit more before I put them in the water, and I'm going to show you that. So again, take your finger like this, just create a divot, and then you just kind of form them out just like this. Okay, so I'm going to get a little closer to show you. Take your finger, both fingers, just push them like this, and open it up like this. You don't want to stretch them too much. I'm going to let these expand a little bit more. Try not to mess with them too much, because all the gas will come out of them and then they'll sort of flatten out. Like this. Again. Okay. One more after this. And I'm going to spray them one more time, and I'll cover them up again while my water is heating up. And last but not least, again, like this, just pinch it in the center and spread it. Don't pull it too hard, and don't try to press down on it too much, because it'll flatten them out. Okay, like this. Okay. Now I'm going to spray them one more time. Let them sit another couple of minutes, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, we're back here with the secret sauce. How do you turn regular dough balls into bagels? A lot of people probably are thinking about that. Well, it first starts off with a pot. It could be a pan like this. Sometimes I use a wok, a pan, something with at least 2 or 3 inches deep of water. And then all you do is take your, now I already finished with the rising of the bagels that I made earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in here. You're going to let them just cook in there for about a minute on each side, no more, no less. Well, maybe less, maybe more, I don't know, but around that time. So I'll put 5 in there now. Let them cook on one side for about, now this should be at a rolling boil. It's at a light boil, it's not a rolling boil, but it's fine. So you go ahead and put those in about a minute on each side, and then I'm going to do the rest, which is going to be a total of 8. And as I said, just make sure that you have enough water in here so this way they'll float. Okay? So I'll take the one that I put in first. I believe it's this one. Then turn this one. You don't need to keep them in there that long. And this one, just flip them over. and this one here. Give them 30 seconds on that side, then I'll put the other 4 in. And then we're going to take them over to the other table. I'll turn the camera around, and then we'll go ahead and put the egg wash on. Sprinkle them with our everything bagel seasoning. And that'll be that. So I'm putting them on. I'm just kind of putting them on this tray over here, cooking tray. Stack them on here. Okay, that was my oven telling me that it's ready to go. It's at 425 degrees. You're going to put them in for 20 minutes. As I said, I'll put the recipe in the description. So this way you guys have that. Again, 30 seconds on one side, a minute, 30 seconds, la 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 la. And then flip them over and then we'll be ready to go. Glad you guys could join me here today. It's a privilege to have you folks watching on, and of course, please subscribe, like it, if that's what you'd like to do, and then subscribe, because I have a lot more other things that I want to. You know, I do everything from cooking. I mean, I'm a man, jack of all trades, master of none. I can't tell you how many projects I've done around the house. All this stuff I've learned on my own. I just like learning stuff. I like going on YouTube. I like, especially YouTube. I like going on there, and I like learning about different things. And if I don't know, then I'll learn how to do it.
There you go. Yeah, good experience.
Okay, so turn this off. I'm going to bring you back down around this way, back to the table again. And I'm going to bring my bagels over here and show you what I do from this point. So here we go. Got the bagels here. I've already got the egg wash. Now, usually I would have a brush, but I can't find it. So I'm just going to use this fork, and of course just put the, you know, and this serves two purposes. It browns the top of the bagel. It also keeps the whatever toppings you put on the bagel. Such I use the everything bagel seasoning from Walmart. Okay, I use that. You can get it. It's a couple of bucks at Walmart. It lasts a pretty good amount of time. And just put this on top of the. As I said, I usually use it with a brush, but I don't have a brush today. So I have to pick that up from Walmart as well, or better yet, the dollar store. How about that? Look, I have no shame of shopping at the dollar store. I have no problems at all shopping at the dollar store. But you know, they shouldn't be calling it the dollar store now. They should be calling it the $1.25 store. I'm trying to get them to change that name, but for some reason they're not listening to me. Okay, with this, what I do is I stagger them like this and like this. Stagger them like this. So like this, give them enough room. It may expand a little bit inside the oven. I doubt very much, but a little bit. Then I sprinkle my everything bagel seasoning on there. If you don't like everything bagel seasoning, whatever you want to put on there is okay, but this is what I do. My oven's already set for 425 degrees. So I'm going to pop this in there. When they come out, I'm going to show you what they look like and take it from there. Thanks. Okay, this is the final product here. We're going to take it out of the oven. It's been there a little bit over 20 minutes, maybe about 22. And this is what we're looking at. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. This is our finished product. These are the bagels. So, again, if you like and like to see more of these recipes, please like and subscribe. And thank you for joining me. It was a pleasure. So again, sorry about the video. I know that it's not the most professional video, but I'm working on it. Hopefully soon I'll be able to get that under wraps. Just to let you know, see how nice and soft and pliable they are. You can hear that crunch. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you another time. Thanks.